have I got a dandy one for you this morning. So this is from the Globe and Mail, which is one of Trudeau's paid newspapers, as far as I know. The IRCC, that's Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Let me just get my ashtray open here. Let's just move you whole and entire towards me then. That should actually be about here. There we are. So, the IRCC, which is Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, says documents a senator sent to a family trapped in Afghanistan were not authentic. This was published 40 minutes ago. So there's a picture of people lining up for the plane in Afghanistan, or attempting to line up for the plane. We all know how well that went. And the article says, in the final days of a chaotic and inadequate government effort to rescue people from the Taliban last summer. Inadequate and chaotic. Yeah, that's on Canada's part. Yeah, Senator Marilou McPhedran and one of her staff members sent travel documents to a family attempting to flee Afghanistan. The documents, called facilitation letters, were supposed to help the Afghans bypass checkpoints that had been set up around Kabul's airport, so they could catch one of the last evacuation flights out of the country. Copies of the letters have been obtained by Globe and Mail. They have the appearance of official Canadian government documents, say that each of the Afghans has a visa to enter Canada, that group should be given safe travel to the airport so they can board their organized flight. And it says a year later, the people who received those documents are still stuck in Afghanistan. And the government's finally explaining why. The letters they received from a senator were not authentic. And the people named on them had not been approved to come to Canada. Miss or Ms. McPhedran, a longtime human rights advocate and lawyer, says she was trying to help and acted in good faith. Communications obtained by the Globe show that receiving the documents from her office could have actually hampered the Afghans' efforts to escape by giving them the mistaken impression that they had been cleared for travel. The family had formally applied for a resettlement, later discovered that the first application was lost, and the second application, made this year, was rejected because Canada's immigration program for Afghans is at capacity. Which is interesting because Trudeau committed to 40,000 Afghan refugees, and according to another source, 3,500 have made it. So less than a tenth. The use of inauthentic facilitation letters is a serious matter, IRCC spokesperson Rémi Larivière said in an emailed statement. Following the department's internal investigation, he added, it made a referral to the appropriate law enforcement partners. In other words, they had this handed off to the police. RCMP and Canada Border Services Agency declined to say whether they have launched investigations, adding that it is generally not their policy to comment on cases unless charges are laid. Emailed statements about the matter do not name the senator. Two government sources said the internal investigation is directly related to the documents sent by the senator and her office. The Globe is not identifying the sources because they were not authorized to discuss the investigation publicly. So, in other words, these are confidential sources, whistleblowers. One source said the government is not aware of anyone coming to Canada using the inauthentic documents. Yeah, okay. But they were unable to say if anyone had successfully used them to get out of Afghanistan. Let me see here. Ms. McPhedran defended her efforts to save vulnerable Afghans, who are now subject to the Taliban's brutal fundamentalist regime. She acknowledged using a template version of a government facilitation letter but she denied that the documents were fake or that she had used them in an unauthorized way. So this is why government corruption is not a good thing. You can't use it to do good. You cannot commit a crime to do a good thing, unfortunately. Because if one could commit a crime to do a good thing, I would have jumped the US border a long time ago. Let me just fix my seat here a little bit. So, I hesitate to say that this senator's heart was in the right place, mostly because they're first described as an activist before they're described as a lawyer. But this is a person who sent essentially forged documents to potential dangerous individuals. They weren't cleared to come to Canada, knowing full well that at some step along the way, these documents would be checked and these people would potentially be subject to criminal investigation. Now, if the senator says, oh, I had no idea that could happen, then the senator doesn't know her fucking job and should resign. If, on the other hand, the senator looks up and goes, yeah, I was aware that could happen, but I was acting in good faith, you still don't give her a break. You charge her. But, unfortunately, she's a female in a Liberal government under Trudeau. She will not face charges, unless she actually says Trudeau did something wrong. You know, like Jody Wilson-Raybould or any of the women associated with her who suddenly found themselves jobless. Yeah. But let us not forget the clusterfuck that was the Afghan withdrawal. Yeah, let's not forget that. Bit of tobacco. Yeah. So, it's bad enough that essentially, and I just have to, come on, there we go. Just have to alter my camera angle a little bit again. Oh, this is irritating. That's better. Okay, now it looks a little more like a hostage video. Help me, I'm being held hostage in a woodshed in Newfoundland. I haven't been harmed. Well, that's not true. I still live in Canada. Anyway, but, and I'm going to be a little careful about what I say here, because I want to make sure I do it from the Canadian side of things. But our forces were unprepared for the swiftness with which we would have to leave Afghanistan. And it would behoove voters in Canada and other places, especially with particular upcoming political events, to bear that in mind and to remind your fellow citizens of that, so that, you know, the people in power don't get a free pass to keep doing shit like this. Yeah. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, and yeah, I will be honest with you guys. I am being careful about what I say because of those particular upcoming political events. And my relative certitude that excuse me, if I did not speak in such a manner that I would probably catch some form of disciplinary action from the platform that I'm using. But yeah. Anyway, join me for my live stream later today, and I will definitely mention it a little more clearly. And I'll do my live stream at about the same time as I did yesterday, so around 3 o'clock Newfoundland time. Just flipping through my notebook here. Yeah, let me just make a quick note in here. There we go. So I've got a note made in my cigarette case so that when I actually go to have a cigarette, I automatically will remind myself to talk about that first. So I did want to talk about a few other things this morning. You guys know I have a vacation coming up. Planning to take a couple of weeks off. During that time, Disco will be happy to hear that I'm planning to work on thumbnails. Even if I can just get something templated up, that'll help. Oh, I will need that link for that story, won't I? It would be a shame if I didn't let you guys read the whole story. Let me see here. There we go, and share it to my email. Okay. So I should get the notification for that before I finish this video. So I'm planning during my time off to start working on a script or a set of scripts. One for, I have 2 series I want to do. I still want to return to doing Sapientia ex Fabulum, which is Wisdom out of Fable, or Sex F, which that series is to show moral lessons that are learned from pop culture and to show the value of that shared mythos before it gets completely ruined by whatever agenda you want to call it. The message, we'll say. Since that's shorthand amongst a lot of us at this point. But I believe there are very, very moral lessons to be learned from pop culture. Very good moral lessons to be learned from pop culture. I've got a few clips that I've kind of had in my back pocket for a while. I've had this idea floating around for quite a while. I'm not great with writing scripts. I would prefer far more to simply show you guys a clip and then talk about the clip. I think what I might try to do is, and the issue I have is if I play a clip that's too long, I could get a copyright strike. I'm going to try and make contact with YouTube again, which is going to be a pain in the ass because I don't have a Twitter account. That's part of the problem. The camera wasn't centered. But yeah, I don't have a Twitter account at the moment. I will probably create a new Twitter account under the name for this channel, which will be used solely for communicating with Twitter if I can manage to get that to work. I'm going to try and finish Leaving Day, which I started as a venture for my buddy Cass. Sunday's live stream will be the end of my production for a couple of weeks. So I'll take from Sunday coming to 2 Sundays later off, inclusive. I will be appearing on any other committed streams, things that aren't on my channel. during that time. And of course, you can always find me in chats for things that I've committed to modding for. Discordant Dragons, Broken Crown. I think that's actually the only ones. The Shades of Dominion is currently on hold, as the Shade Master is dealing with some personal stuff. I don't want to say too much about that because it's not my tale to tell. But he's got some IRL pressures that need to be dealt with first. Trying to think of what else. So yeah, I have the Sex F series that I want to do. I also do want to do a series honoring my Newfoundland roots. God damn it. So hard to get this camera to stay exactly where I want it. Plus I bobblehead a little bit, so that doesn't help. But I also, as I've mentioned, I want to do a series about honoring my Newfoundland roots. And that series I've called Newfoundlandia. So the first story I want to do from that is I'm vacillating a fair bit about which particular figure in Newfoundland history or Newfoundland history and legend that I want to cover. I may instead do a simple short history of Newfoundland piece instead. After that, who knows? But anyway, if you're interested in listening to the Venture series as it stands, that you can find under the original Audio Tales playlist. If you're interested in what else? Yeah, and also during those 2 weeks off, I'm going to attempt to spend a fair bit of time out here getting a few projects clued up. I've got that table to do, and I have my mother's chair to finish. I want both of those done before it gets too much colder. It's already cold enough in the shed in the mornings that I can see my breath. I'm guessing you guys probably can't on camera. But I want to have that all clued up. I'll keep making short daily videos, potentially in the shed. But once it's cold like this, it's extremely uncomfortable for me to spend any amount of time out here. Partly due to my thyroid condition. I have a very strong intolerance to cold because of it. So I do have plans for new content. You'll notice the channel badge has changed again. I'm fairly content with this one, and the color scheme and elements have not changed and will not change going forward. Other than that, I think that's pretty much everything I have on my plate, or on plans anyway. I do have an unused Twitch channel that I log into occasionally. Yeah, the plan with the Twitch channel. I'm currently saving money. Not much each month, but trying to save up to purchase I guess at this point even a low-end PC would be capable of playing Skyrim. But that's pretty much my plan, is to start streaming Skyrim during the winter, so that I can do something similar to my woodworking streams while I play Skyrim. The difference being that when I sit down to play Skyrim, I'm generally there for hours. And I'm perfectly content to sit there and play. I absolutely love that game. But I don't currently have a device that I would trust to stream to Twitch. And I don't really think I have a good setup for it. Now I'm just over 20 minutes, so I'm going to end this fairly quickly. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And, you know, I'm kind of eager to have my first vacation from work ever. Which, yeah, I mean, I'm 46 years old and I've never actually taken a vacation. I've either been working or not working, or in school, or what have you. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm going to peter out this morning. So I do apologize for that, and quite a little bit of dead air on here this morning. I've got a zit or something coming up there. Deal with that later. In any case, folks, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you continue to have good days, and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.